The question is best practices and worst practices in social media. And again, this is a question that we get frequently. It's one that fortunately there are more and more companies that are doing a good job and are sharing some of the results in terms of what they're doing out there. I think broadly, if you think about best practices, starting with a strategy is key. A lot of times you'll hear that you should just start listening. Listening is not a bad thing, and that means using a tool like a Radian6 or a Spreadfast or a Scout Labs to start to find out what people are saying about you and where they're saying it. But in parallel, certainly figuring out how should all of your social efforts stitch together, and more importantly, how do they tie back to your business goals is really key. Just doing a Twitter account or a blog or a community for the sake of getting it out there doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless you're committed to it. And so what I think is that if you have a good strategy and you have a good blueprint and you're willing to execute against that, that moves into that next phase of best practices, and that is making sure that you have a game plan, and in particular, operationalizing social media. So making sure that you've got the right people working for you, that they're trained, that they know what they're doing, that they're resourced appropriately. That may mean working with a social media agency like a Powered or someone that you're already working with that has capabilities. This moves into the worst practices, and I certainly don't like to name names, but there are some companies that we've seen that have gone out and done huge promotions, for instance, to get Facebook fans. And what I will mention is TGI Fridays, and I feel comfortable mentioning them because I think they've now realized the error of their ways and have started to swing things around into positive. They did a huge campaign where they offered up free hamburgers to the first 500,000 fans on their Facebook page. It netted out to be about 1 million. And there were two problems, and that was one, I'm not sure they really thought through what was supposed to happen on their fan page once they get the people there. The other was the uptake on this. And this is something that if you ever decide to play in the area of these new services called location-based services like Facebook Places or Foursquare or Gowalla, it's making sure that your employees and your store managers and your frontline folks are all trained up so that if people are coming in and taking advantage of this, that they understand. I will say that a company I love and sort of patronize frequently, Starbucks, did a great thing by launching their Foursquare program where mayors of their stores, or people that checked in the most, got $1 off a Frappuccino. The problem was a lot of the store people, the employees, didn't know about it. So great thinking, good strategy, bad operationalization of the actual campaign. So make sure you have a strategy, make sure you're willing to execute and operationalize, and then of course measure. Don't put something out there and put a lot of muscle behind it without having those capabilities in place and being ready to act on those once they get there.